right club. Be the right club today.
Johnny, that's better than most.
How about in?
That is better than most. Better than most.
Expect anything different?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the No Laying Up live show, presented as always by our friends at High Noon. Solly here with my guy TC. Hello, TC.
Hey, Solly. You know what? I need to run over to the fridge and grab a High Noon.
Okay.
Seriously.
You got a lot in your fridge. I was over at your house this weekend. It was great. We're having a dramatic roll in to bring the big guy in here. I was curious what was going on behind the scenes there, but calling him in from the pen. Here comes Todd Coffey. Hey, big guy. How are you?
The arm's loose. I'm feeling good. Happy to be here. Thank you very much, Mr. Chris.
I do not have to get big excited about men's professional golf during Riviera Week. He talks about this week all year long. If every week was like this on the PGA Tour, all of the problems of professional golf would not be here.
But golf would be too big. It would be an absolute problem for all of us, more so than it is day to day. Yeah, we do not want all of professional golf to be like Riv. Then we would really need to shrink the game at that point.
That's a really interesting point. TC is showing off the vodka seltzer, which we're not supposed to have tonight because we're supposed to be bringing the Fiesta anywhere you go with the all new High Noon tequila seltzer Fiesta pack. The variety 8-pack features 2 new tequila flavors, blood orange and prickly pear, alongside 2 tequila favorites, that is grapefruit and lime. All are made with real tequila and real juice, perfect for any fiesta. Find the High Noon Tequila Seltzer Fiesta pack nearest you at highnoonspirits.com. If you guys haven't been to this website, it's fantastic. I just did this right before we came on. I said, I wonder where I could find the all-new High Noon Tequila Seltzer Fiesta pack. I want to try the blood orange, and I want to try the prickly pear. Turns out it's very, very close. It's very close by in Jack's Beach in our zip code TC. So I'm going to swing by and probably pick up an 8-pack tonight. Cody, how are we?
Good. I was so worried there for a second because I put the image up and I was like, oh no, did this say Solly's full address on it?
I thought I doxed myself too as soon as you put it up.
Oh my goodness. And listen, if anybody wants to track him down, there's a zip. But the website's awesome. Thanks, of course, to High Noon. Gentlemen, how we doing today?
Guys, great. I would say Yo Soy Fiesta, right? Yo Soy Fiesta pack. I haven't had this prickly pear yet or this blood orange. I will say I have been drinking the plum, the cranberry, the lemon. I think lemon is the most underrated flavor out there, and I'm trying to get more people over to that block.
Pears,
of course. I love you're bringing in the exotic fruits, TC. I know this is a big day, okay? It's not just Riv Week. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. But what I am most excited for is spending a little pre-Valentine's Day dinner night with you blokes. So my question to lead things out, all right? We're flipping tees here. I'm trying to figure out who has honors. So, Mr. Solomon, what are you doing tonight for Valentine's dinner with your spouse?
Listen, Valentine's looks a little different around our household these days. We have a 6-month-old. The hours between 5 and 7 are spent, kind of getting her calmed down and in bed. So I'm picking up from a local joint just around the corner from us called Bonefish Grill tonight. We got it ordered. Got some fish and steak ordered. No bang shrimp. Keeping it. We're down 5.
Come on.
No appetizers. We're down 5 pounds already to start the year big. Come on, we're trying to keep it lean over here, but going to get a little Mayday ice cream as well on the way home. That's my Valentine's Day plans. I already got the card and flowers that this morning started off the day right. So that's what we got going on.
TC.
I just got a text from my wife. It says, "Where do you want to go to dinner tomorrow night?" We'll be celebrating tomorrow night. We're not huge Valentine's people. It's kind of like one of those holidays. If you've worked in the hospitality industry, especially hotels, it's kind of amateur hour, right? People come in with inflated expectations and are thinking, kind of like New Year's, hey, we're going to have the best time ever tonight, and it never lives up to that. So, but
like babysitter
tomorrow night. What's that?
Sounds like you might be doing it wrong.
No, when you have to deal with all the drunk people on the flip side of it.
I got it.
But yeah, so we'll celebrate tomorrow night. I think we're going to try to hit this place, Masa, the newish Indian place on the other side of Jacksonville. I've heard great things.
Very good. Mr. Big, what do you got planned, buddy?
Is Valentine's Day? Is that something nobody told me I needed to do anything. Is
Nobody told me.
Is this one of those days?
Neil's probably out buying his wife Carson a vacuum cleaner or something.
I'm happy to report my plans this evening, celebrating Valentine's Day. We are doing dinner and then going down to Ball Arena to watch my Sacramento Kings take on the Denver Nuggets. And yes, that is something for me, but the girlfriend is super into both Nuggets games and the Kings, so it should be a nice evening tonight.
Ball So Hard Arena. And you know what? On the second night of a back-to-back, Randy.
I know. I'm a little worried the Kings are going to get boat raced, but we can break. You guys, you want to break down the Kings-Nugs game tonight?
This is what happened. I give up control for one question, and we're 7 minutes in.
No, we're not doing that,
Kings
big guy.
and Nuggets. Let's go. It's
I'm
a tight
sorry,
show.
Sully, that's not doing it. Award
tight
here.
show.
TC, since you're not subscribing to this, big, I'm sorry. You're just you kind of this is basically a Tuesday night for you. It doesn't really matter if it's Valentine's Day or not. Award's gonna go to Sully here. Sully, your honor, sir. What are we cooking tonight?
Well, I want to talk some Riviera stuff. Obviously, this is a special week. You do this podcast for enough years, you feel like you're regurgitating some of the same things about a golf course, and about an event. But at the same time, I know there's always new listeners, new people chiming in. But we rave about Riv. There's a lot to compliment about this event. Has always felt elevated, despite even before it got a signature event status. The cat, I'm sure, has something to do with all that. But I'm gonna give it to Randy first. I want to, this question was from Cal Milk Hater. Said if you had to pick
Sounds like Will Levis.
if you had to pick one thing that is the reason for there being such a draw to Riv, what is it, Big Randy?
It's very simply the golf course. I mean,
well, what about it? Come on, what about the golf course?
It's proper. It's a major championship venue. It always looks very good on television. I love the property. The eucalyptus trees, the kikuya grass, the stickiest of the icky. Interesting design. I think a mix of some half par holes, and I mean, shit, what's the par 3 on the front 6 with the bunker right in the middle of the green? Like, you're just not getting that week to week. And then it really got cemented. I got to walk around during the during the Riv event. Little slip there. Maybe we can talk about that.
That's where you've been,
it's
huh?
Such a good course that he's confusing it with Las Vegas Country Club.
Well, all the winners are going there, so hopefully whoever wins this year isn't going. But no, I got to walk around Riv, and it just is a really cool property. It feels tight and enclosed in like a swanky part of Los Angeles. I just really enjoyed it. It's just so different from like what I grew up and experienced with golf and courses. And I don't know, it just has always been really cool. I'm struggling for more words beyond that, I guess.
TC, what if you had to pick one thing that Riv is that makes Riv such a draw, what is it?
Like Randy said, it shows off really well on TV. The trees, the kikuya grass, the barrancas, George C. Thomas, the captain. I don't have to tell you guys about the captain.
No.
Typically, I'm worried it might be a little soft this year, but typically they kind of push the course a little bit. It's kind of everything you want a PGA Tour stop to be, and you wish there were more of them. And it feels like the culmination of, we talk a lot of shit about the pro golf schedule, and it seems like the best stretch of the year unequivocally is the non-major stretch of the year is the West Coast swing, and this is the culmination of it, and kind of brings in all the best parts of it. And the only thing I wish maybe was a little bit different is I wish we could go a little bit deeper into prime time, but that's the way that time zones and February daylight works. So
I think what sticks out to me about this place, the first thing, it is we do not have thick rough at Riviera. There is no thick rough. There's almost never been thick rough. Maybe there's more thick rough this year. I haven't really seen it in a wetter year, but almost always the goal is not to, just put ankle deep rough out there to punish guys from going off the fairway. And the reason why that works so well there is how well contoured everything is around the greens. There's tilt to all the greens. The bunkers are really they're as close to real hazards as you can get in a lot of these places where you're hitting, if you're in the wrong bunker on the wrong side of a green, you have no shot at getting anywhere close to the hole, whereas a lot of PGA Tour courses you can get up and down relatively easily if you're missing in the right spots and things like that. And there's just so much consequence to every shot without it being overly penal. Like, it's not like there's just water lining every fairway. It is, you don't want to go down in the Barranca there on the 7th hole, but like that, you can find it down there and you can go play it and you can dig yourself out of there. And there's just that kind of balance, give and take that, almost every year this tournament comes up, there's just more and more context around it, more and more memory of watching guys trying to navigate the slopes. And you watch a guy miss in the wrong spot on 17, like left above the hole, and can't get up and down. That just adds to the next 5 guys that are getting ready to come through and watch that shot. It's like I said, if pro golf looked like this every week, we would not bitch about it nearly as much as we do. So this is the one week where we just get super amped for everything. Cat being involved too, man, it helps a lot. It really does. There's a buzz on the ground. I don't really know exactly what we're going to expect from him, but this is my favorite PGA Tour event of the year. This is the one that gets me to like bookmark ESPN Plus is going on time tomorrow, not like I'll stroll in when I kind of feel like it kind of day.
Like Randy and I used to just sit there in, was that sophomore or junior year of college, and just sit there and like play video games on one screen. And like Thursday morning, we would be up watching, or like Thursday midday, it's lunchtime. Cool. Like, I'm skipping class at noon or 1 p.m. to watch Riviera. Like, we loved it. And saw consequences, like appropriate consequences is such a good term for it, I think, especially now that it seems like they're bringing some stuff back into balance a little bit with 10 and starting to, because it's almost like a massive compliment to Riv that it's as spectacular as it is, and it's probably one of the more under-realized courses out there too, of like what it could be too. Like, it's almost a shell of itself with certain mowing lines or certain greens that have shrunk or certain things that they could do to really bring out the best of it. But I think they're getting to that. They're going to have the Olympics there. They're going to have a women's major there coming up. Like, it seems like they're starting to put the pieces into place to kind of dust it off a little bit more too.
And women's U.S. Open in a couple of years as well, which will be cool.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about 10 over the years. That's the hole that everyone talks about the most. And there have been, as you mentioned, TC, some adjustments made to that. We have some images, I think, from Jeff Shackelford's newsletter and from Golf Week. Sorry, I always spring this stuff on Cody. But kind of, we've watched it over the years. It's like, all right, is 10 a great hole? We can discuss that. Is it, maybe gotten a little bit silly in a lot of places? There's a lot of sand that's splashed up on that green. The strategy element has kind of been taken out of it due to technology and a lot of other reasons. The green is a little bit silly. There's a ton of red areas in there, which are unpinnable spaces and whatnot, but there were some tweaks made to this in the offseason. So if you're watching this on YouTube right now, like the whole middle part of the green, that red part is unusable pin space with the speeds
which is sick.
It is, but there's very, very limited options on a green of this size. And the play has just become like, you just got to kind of hit it up somewhere left of the green and figure it out from there. And it just gotten to the point where I always struggle to describe this, but it's like you have to hit such like a 1 percentile shot to like hit the green or like hit it in a perfect spot. Like, even the best players in the world, their dispersion patterns don't really make sense for trying to like thread this shot. Like, it always just ends up in a kind of random place. And I enjoy watching guys try to figure it out from there. Right. Whereas now with a few more pinnable spots in this new green that, there'll be a little bit more green and blue, kind of more in the center of this green and some kind of just better spaces in the green. You may see a little bit more strategy. You may see maybe more guys lay up, if there's a middle pin there, that may make a little bit more sense, or it just had gotten too severe for their speeds. I actually played out here in late April last year, and for the speeds that it stays at for the members, this green makes a ton of sense. I don't love this green from a pro golf standpoint, but the speed we were playing at that day, I was like, this is pretty great. And now I have a feeling we're going to walk off from this green this year and be like, okay, this is maybe a little less crazy, but it's probably makes a little bit more sense for pro golf speeds.
Yeah, I think it'll be less binary, right? It seemed like, all right, you're either going to lay up short right or you're going to go long left, right? Whereas now it's like, all right, you know what? It makes more sense to really take it on and all that. Guys, I have a proposal on this. I think like this kind of reminds me of like an El Nino kind of like ocean surface heat model. What if they just change this green every year? And it's like, you know what? It's an El Nino year. Like, we're gonna get a crazy crazy number 10 green. It's a La Nina year. It's, you know, it's going to be really benign this year, and guys can you know, really go at it. Like, you don't know what you're going to get. Cause it sounds like, Sally, that like for it, at least for corporate events, I don't know for members, but for corporate events, they don't even let people play number 10. You play to a temporary green anyway.
What if
right?
they just turn the temporary green into the pro green, and you can just do crazy shit with that, and everybody else plays the real green, and the pro green becomes the temp green just becomes the psycho one.
Yeah, I'm down.
I mean,
like it.
sure.
They do that in Japan. Like, they have 2 greens, right?
We got a couple good questions that flowed through on 10. This is from D Fleming Robbie, as we I believe are losing Big's camera here. But he said, besides the 10th hole at Riv, what are the other biggest? We like it because we tell ourselves it's good holes on tour. I don't know where I net on this. I still can't decide if 10 is good or not. But I don't know. It's an interesting debate every year. I think it's not so bad it's good, but at the same time, it just holds your attention. It is a toll booth.
It's different.
You got to pass, right? I don't think the tee shot is very good. I don't think it rewards like especially good shots. But it is always fun to just watch guys maybe potentially blow up when they get to this hole.
Yeah, like it's
interesting.
in the front of your mind.
Yeah,
when you're playing the round, right?
And it's weird. It's just weird to have people. It's like when you have to start your round on this one, right? It makes sense as your 10th hole of the day. It's like if you play it at 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't know. That one always just bothers
There's
me.
just, I don't know. There should be more weird shit on tour, right? I like different. I like unique. I like weird. There's way too much homogeny on tour.
I do definitely agree with that. Some nominations that came in are 17 at TPC Sawgrass, 6 at Bay Hill. I just saw come through as well. That makes a ton of sense. I would say. I mean, 16 at Waste Management, having just seen it. I mean, I'm not positive that's a great hole, but it creates some interesting moments. But it is like 10 at Riv is labeled as like the best short par 4 on tour. I do not think it's the best short par 4 on tour. And we had a great question from Honest to Fosi. He said, top 5 short par 4s seen on tour, and does 10 at Riv show up on this list?
All right, how do we define short par 4s?
I think,
does it have to be drivable?
No, absolutely not. I would say absolutely not.
Because I think number 3 at Augusta is like probably one of my favorite holes in the world. So that, like, my list was 3 at Augusta, 17 at Phoenix is a contender. You know, number 3 at Pebble, I think is awesome. I think that's
4.
really cool.
3 or 4?
I like 3.
Okay.
More than 4, personally. I think 4 is a fucking abomination these days. I think Sawgrass number 4, TPC Sawgrass number 4 is fucking awesome. And then this is gonna just upset
15 at Travelers. Don't do it.
15 at TPC River Highlands, baby.
You got a lot of similarities to my list. I like number 4 at Pebble when it's in the proper condition. I think that when it never is for the 18 for the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, it's always soft. But like when that green gets firm for U.S. Opens, trying to figure out how to hit a shot into that green is always fascinating, especially when they move that tee up like they do sometimes for the U.S. Open. That one's on my list. I also nominated 13 at Memorial Park in Houston. It's like 330 yards. It's got a really cool. It's just a simple use of contouring to like defend the hole. And it's, you know, if you bail right and you're chipping kind of out of that little Bermuda over that ridge, it's just a really, really difficult shot. And there's a ton of strategy and different options that go into that. I always try to go for options. I think 17 at TPC Scottsdale is my favorite short par 4 on the PGA Tour. Just the way that green is structured, so many different pins can be, you know, the best line of play might change from day to day. But 10, again, probably making my top 5, but it's nowhere near the top of that. Big, anything else to add on that?
No, I guess I always like number 9 at Harbor Town, but I think that gets docked because it's not really drivable. It's more just like a short par 4. I like Live or God, that's 2 times. We need a counter. I like Riv number 10. I'm just gonna start calling it Riviera to
Riviera.
Yeah. I understand the argument. There's not a whole lot of variety in like how pros approach it and attack it, but I do like a short hole that can cause all kinds of headaches and high numbers and, you know, guys frustrated because they're walking off with bogey or double. Like that's the stuff I like. So I'm a bit more bullish, I think, on number 10 than maybe you are.
I'm surprised Rainey didn't give us like some hole at the Grange down in Adelaide. Or...
Listen, you guys all know Rowback. It is best fit, best feel. If you listen to the Billy Ho pod, I was specifically giving a shout out to this gray pullover, Q-zip, I should say, with the white zipper on it. I love this piece. Absolutely love it. Rowback is fresh off a restock of some of our favorite performance polos. The material, moisture wicking, great stretch. The collar is crisp. It does not lose its shape. It fits way better than boxy polos. And they got some awesome designs that pair with this really good structure of their polos as well. You'll also, of course, have the performance hoodies. I think TC, you got one on right now. My screen is very small right now, but
I do, and it's on the correct direction as well.
Yeah.
I have it on right side out.
One of TC's best marketing ploys ever was wearing the Rowback, the subtle dog logo inside out and backwards. But love the hoodies. I wear them pretty much every day. I had one on this morning. And again, the performance Q-zips are back. We love them. They got awesome classic designs, soft performance fabric, great for the golf course, great off the golf course. You can go to rowback.com, shop for yourself, shop for others. Use code NLU at rowback.com for a generous 20% off your first order through the end of this week. That's RHOBACK.com, 20% off bottoms, Q-zips, hoodies, and more with code NLU. Get ready for the golf season with Rowback. All right, the Cat is playing this week. What are your expectations, Randy? What do you think we're going to see out of the Cat?
I think Cat's going to be in good spirits. I think he's, going to be out there. He's going to hit some good shots. He's going to hit some bad shots. My expectations are, I hope he can make the cut. It's a small cut, so I think that's goal number one. I have no idea, right? This is always such a coin flip, but I just hope he looks happy, healthy, and I got to think he's going to enjoy himself being out there around the boys, big brand announcement, which I know we'll get to, but I guess competition wise, I don't expect much at all. I think just making the cut, playing 4 days would be a nice week for him.
I'm going to go a little more optimistic. I think the Cat plays well. I bet he finishes in the top 30 this week. I think that's a 80-person field or whatever it is. I think that's a solid finish, right? Do you think he finishes in the top 30, TC?
I think he makes the cut, but I think he fades hard on the weekend. Randy, great question coming in from McLean J12. Are you going to revoke tour cards?
No, well, God, signature event. Maybe we should, but no, I don't think so. I think the majors are a little different. We'll save that for when we need to at majors.
Does this feel any different to you? Like for last year and majors he's played over the last couple of years, to me it has felt like, dude, maybe you can get through 4 rounds. I mean, he did not set high expectations. He was, kind of, talking about how much he's going to be on ice in between all these rounds. It looked like the leg was ready to pop off at any point. Did the additional procedure, after the procedure he had last year, he talks in a different way. He's talking about playing once a month. He talks about, being more mobile. I don't have the same apprehension about him teeing it up this week as I've had in the past. I think I have no evidence really to support this, but I just kind of feel like he's in a stronger position. And I don't foresee 4 days being a problem for him and in the way that it has been the last couple of years.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I think it's fair to expect some sort of physical evolution, right, or some sort of physical improvement. I think the biggest bummer is just like I once again, please come to my TED Talk about how Tiger should play Harbor. I know it's impossible because Harbor Town's the week after the Masters, or Colonial, or like play some of these super flat courses that prioritize great iron play and putting. I think that's where, if Cat wants to win again on tour, that's where he's going to do it, is one of those courses. And God forbid he has to walk up the Lanto stairs behind 18 green here as well. That would be a disaster.
What are the Lanto stairs again? Remind me of that one. Why don't I remember?
You remember when they went to this was what, last year, a couple years ago, when they had all the wind and stuff, and so they were having the guys warm back up, and they're like, guys, we're not going back out. And Lanto's like, well, you know what? Like, that's ridiculous that you made us go all the way down there and walk back up those stairs and da. Like the mules just can't take it,
Do you guys think Tiger's got any pranks planned this year? That was something I wanted to ask the group.
You see it? He hit Spieth with an incredible zinger today. I don't know if you guys heard that, but he was talking to him. He said, Spieth said he was right in front of Tiger, and Tiger hit him with I'll hit into you tomorrow then, and just slayed everybody. Erupted in laughter around the tee box. It was just primo Cat content. Speaking of primo Cat content, Sunday Red, made the
Some
airwaves, made a debut
day
on
red.
Monday. Which I would say to a a tame reaction is maybe the nicest phrase I could use with that. I don't want to get canceled anymore for critiquing any more fashion, fashion statements out on tour. I don't want to get called an NPC again, but what's the reaction to the Sunday Red brand?
Well, listen, we'll see. Time
No
will
thanks.
tell.
Yeah.
I think Bellis it's so funny to see everybody like breathlessly reporting the same shit at the release thing and like basically being a PR arm for Abellis and like just regurgitating the same PR release essentially. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I don't really have a whole lot of confidence in Tiger to get like fashion right.
Why do you say that, TC?
There's a body of work there. I think like I'm sure there's going to be tactical loungewear that you could wear to go see Punisher 4 or Jack Reacher
easy now.
7, in there that listen, I'm sure they'll have some good pieces and stuff like that. I loved Antifaldo had a great tweet that basically said if you
Your browser's up, Cody,
basically-
just so you know. Just for the record here.
there you
Just-
go.
put the
Just
90
gotta-
degree
Good call.
shift on it. It basically looks like a fused vertebrae there too.
Got-
So
Yeah. I can somebody, guys, what do you think? Like, hand up, I never bought any of the TW Nike collection stuff, so I realize I'm not like the target market here, but I don't feel like the Tiger logo looks as cool as I was maybe hoping it would look. Like I don't know, it just feels like it could be a little better done. And then I truly don't get the separating Sunday and making it 3 words. Like it just seems overthought and a little dumb.
Can
in
I
my
make it
opinion.
worse? Bellis's explanation, just replace Michael Scott with that explanation, and it makes way more sense. Like it was totally, I listened to it 3 times. I have no idea what he's talking about. This rule of 3 or something that was going on there. It just,
we'll see.
There are some cool, there are a couple people like the hoodie that Tiger had on, although he claims that's the first cashmere hoodie on tour. We're going to have to agree to disagree on that one, Kat. I think that's been out there for about at least 4 or 5 years now. But
Has Kat not been in a pro shop in years?
but man, some of the shirts, some of the collared shirts and whatnot, I was like, man, all this for this. And there was just a line of people very willing to just fawn all over it, which was, I don't know if they maybe had seen a little bit of the social media reaction before doing that. They might have acted a little bit differently. But
yeah, and like Abellis was going. I guess they're going all D2C. Abellis was saying it's very distinct. It's going to be an independent company from TaylorMade. They're in San Clemente. They're reporting up to him still though, and I think the thing that it got me thinking about mostly was just how underrealized all the Tiger Nike stuff was, about how big of a whiff the last 25 years have been with Nike, or 30 years now at this point. Just like, man, like it feels like there was some blank space to do something more cohesive and something more like Jordan, right? More like, hey, there's something lasting and there's a sub brand here, and the Tiger logos that they came up with through the years with Nike weren't good either, right? And now it's like, all right, we've got this Grayson collar, which it seems like they're like leaning into, but I'm afraid they're going to be caught in between this weird spot where they're going for this premium clientele or this premium target market, but the people that buy that premium stuff have more taste than to buy this half-baked stuff. So I don't know. It seems stuck in the middle to me.
Listen, when the J-Day Malbon stuff came out, I was really, really not a fan of the fits at Kapalua, but like a lot of the stuff after that is kind of like, okay, well, I kind of see what they're going for here. Like this makes a little bit more sense. Maybe, give them a few months, a couple quarters or whatnot. Maybe this stuff starts to look a little bit nicer, cleaner, whatnot. But yeah, it was just very meh. Like it's Tiger. Of course it's Tiger. Like there's going to be a lot of attention around it, but If the Tiger was not tied to this, I don't think that clearly this would not have made any airwaves of any kind. So it's weird. It's definitely weird to see him not in the Nike stuff, but I'm sure we're going to get the tour promoting it very, very heavily. Was, I don't know, a little surprising to me, I guess. And I'm guessing we're going to get a fair amount of that on the broadcast this week.
The tour also sent out a note, which I'm sure this is from Tiger or Steiny or whomever, but the tour also sent out a note to all tournament organizers that you can't use pictures of Tiger and Nike stuff unless it's like a certified iconic moment, which
Really
good luck with that, man. Especially when he only tees it up, a couple times a year. Like,
do we think last year?
You guys talked about the logo. You guys talked a little bit about the clothes. You guys, no shoe takes. TC, this is kind of right up your alley. I wasn't really feeling the black and red, but I thought the white ones today, they were pretty decent.
I haven't seen the white ones today. I've been kind of head down today, but they look. There's some Jordan golf shoes that they look a lot like with this plastic piece on the far back. I don't know. They're not offensive. Their
shoes were decent, I thought. Yeah.
Shoes are solid. Look.
Yeah. Fine.
Yeah, feels good. They're good.
Yeah, it's cashmere.
Oh, Golf Channel just reposted the Tiger joke with the crying laughing emoji. Because it was really that funny. So
Tiger rules.
Cody, you want to bring us home with some segments here?
Yes, I think what we're going to turn to is I after last week, I know TC, you're the king of hot takes here. You and Big, we both missed the waste management recap. I'm just wondering if you guys have caught up at all, if you want to get some thoughts out there. There's been quite a bit of spillage over. Everybody's happy to be in LA, just away from Phoenix, the debauchery that happened there. But any thoughts? We'll start with you, Mr. Big.
I didn't get super into all the reaction and stuff. I think I think the tournament, from what I can tell, is at an interesting crossroads. They've made the identity of the event the debauchery and the partying, and it's hard to kind of walk back from that image that you've tried to create over years and years and years. I'm hopeful maybe this year was more an aberration with some public heckling and some guys getting upset, like ZJ. I know TC, we talked about that internally. I kind of don't take much of that
sir
for anything. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be a shame if things dramatically changed. Tron, we were out there, 17 years ago now, and it was truly a wonderful time. I had a blast. So yeah, I guess I'm more just curious what the organizers and the tour are going to do or not do. But I think it'd be a shame if that event and that week kind of strays too far from what it's become, because I think we talked about Riv being an interesting golf course. That tournament is the Waste Management is an interesting tournament year to year for just how much it stands out and stands apart. So I hope, I hope they can find something that works for all parties. That's kind of a political answer, but.
And if you haven't listened to the Billy Horschel pod, we just posted that overnight last night. He talked a lot about, look, here's the deal. Here's what's fun. Here's what's good about it. Here's where things are like getting a little bit out of hand, and just people just heckling, before golf shots, over golf shots, and things like that. That, it just kind of is the nature of how these things flow, unfortunately.
I had no problem with Billy saying what he said to those fans of like, you know what, like people were going to cross the line, and I have no problem with guys clapping back at him. I think I struggle with ZJ when it's like, all right, well, when you say that, for the last 21 years, this thing's been out of control. All right, well, 5 of the last however many years that the tour, 5 of the last 7 years that the tour's given out Tournament of the Year awards, this has been named Tournament of the Year or co-Tournament of the Year, which is like, then you know what? Like, talk to your fucking organization, ZJ, or stop showing up. Maybe get your wife's permission.
It might just not be for you. Exactly.
I got a better idea. Listen, Yasser, I got a 2-time major champion. Okay. He's won at Augusta National, and he's won at the old course at St. Andrews, and he's a Ryder Cup captain. Like, can you take ZJ off our hands? ZJ to live would solve so many. It would solve 90% of the tour problems if ZJ just went to live, I think.
But I think one of the things is, like, Randy, to echo what you said, it was a great event to go to. I think when we went 6 or 7 years ago, it was still a great event to go to, and one that I wouldn't be afraid taking my 7-year-old son to go see. And I think sometime in that time, it's just, and maybe this mirrors the kind of how professional sports in America are trending. Sometime in that time, it's just gotten so over the top, and the tour hasn't, there's been no tact or nuance with it. They've just said all outrageousness is good outrageousness, and at some point there do need to be standards, and that doesn't mean you need to strip the fun away from it. It just means, hey, when somebody crosses the line or does something purely for shock value, then, like, there need to be, Solly, you said it earlier, consequences.
There you go.
Have some consequences. Also, like, it is absolutely insane from on so many different levels, from an operational standpoint, from a risk standpoint, just from a business standpoint, to not be scanning tickets at the gates.
Yeah.
Like, that's, like, I like Chance Cosby. I think he's a good guy. I think his 3 pieces of pecan is some absolute fire. One of the best accounts on Insta. I've given him some criticism in the past for some of their sponsor exemptions, but, like, that's a decision where, like, get to the bottom of that and who made the decision not to scan tickets, because that's insane.
I've got one other critique, and apologies if you guys touched on this Sunday in the recap, but I do think the way they have built up the corporate hospitality all around number 16 has now forced a lot of just public spectators, fans, to other parts of the course. And I wonder if you were to open up number 16 again, down the left side used to be all just public grandstands. And then it was not even built up beyond the green. It was just kind of a little hill and people would congregate. It's almost like take all the people that just want to get drunk and rowdy and make them be on 16. And then I think you would hopefully avoid some of the run-ins and stuff that we're seeing not on 16, right? I think they've almost
over.
crowded people out of 16, and that debauchery, because people are going to that tournament to, a good amount are just going to get shithoused and do whatever. Like, that fits at 16. It almost gets washed out because there's so much noise and commotion going on. I feel like how they've
17 now. Like,
I feel like how they've
done that thing along the left.
Yeah, closed off 16 to a lot of just public spectators is not the way I would like to go.
Which also kind of killed some of the vibe on, like some of the good vibes, some of the actual golf fans that would hang out along the left on 16, or the college kids that would hang out on the hill behind. And now it's like they're all right on top of the thing. And it's a hell of a lot harder to throw people out of a corporate hospitality box who have paid their company or whomever has paid, a couple $100,000. Like, on some level, it feels fucking greedy from the Thunderbirds. And I know that the money's going to charity at the end of the day and all that, but you got to take more of a long view of this and bring it back a little bit to, like, it kind of goes back to our whole conversation about full swing and how to get new golf fans in the mix. And this isn't doing anything to drive golf fandom, right? It's almost driving people away from the game a little bit. Like, there needs to be some balance.
Yeah.
And
it's people for the sake of people. It's not like actually adding golf fans, which I get. That's part of what makes that event fun. But at a certain point, it just kind of gets 3% worse every year. And it's over 100%.
One of the rare failures that I think that we've seen play out by an actual, like, the organizing event. I think this, a lot of this falls on the tour, but a lot of this ultimately falls on, like, the tournament organizer and those guys, because if you want to talk about where this broke down of, like, not having plans in place to get people out of there, limiting people's entrance in when they're expecting that much rain, trying to figure out the amount of booze that they can actually sell. And then ultimately, when you jam all these people in, they have people jumping the fence, not being scanned in, and then other people just going into all you can drink hospitality areas. Like, things are going to get out of control. But the Thunderbirds,
they stopped selling water too.
Yeah, they've done so many right things. I do not doubt that they're going to get this. They're going to get this fixed, because they're one of the good guys. And I mean, it's really, I know you gave a shout out there to Chance, but, like, he has a solid head and his heart's always in the right place, and he represents that organization and like really the city of Phoenix, Scottsdale better than anyone else.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I do think like the tour was a little bit like the tour's got just as big of a role to play in this and or as far as responsibility as well. Like they've done more to promote the, the downside of this tournament as anybody, right?
Yeah, for sure. Even this year, I mean, last year have it being an elevated signature, designated, whatever you want to say. So that brought a lot of great players there. So fans come out to watch that great players, and you still had the booze hounds out there. Now this year, you don't have to have them Waste Management putting up 20, 25 million bucks because people want to go to that event. But that just means that the people who want to see the really good golfers, now you just got a big ass party. Add weather on top of it, and it gets out of control. Anyway, one thing that you guys touched on last week too was there's a lot of Spieth talk, and we're gonna run into the mailbag here. This comes from NH Clark 8. Bearish or bullish on Spieth this year? My official prediction is 2 majors and 6 total wins. That might be underestimating the kid. Solly, you had honors. I'll let you go here and kind of lay out some thoughts that you had.
Put your name on it, Solly.
I mean, I said my piece last week. I mean, it's I'll throw it to Randy to start this one. I said my piece on Sunday.
I'm in the process of losing faith in Jordan. I think my expectations for him this year would be a win or 2 somewhere and no majors. I am trying to come to grips internally with he just isn't going to sustain that crazy major pace that he showed 7 years ago as a true young kid. And as much as I would have loved him to, make a run at like double-digit majors, it's just not going to happen. So I'm trying to have realistic expectations, and I hope I'm wrong. I don't know. TC, what do you think?
I feel like we're kind of stating the obvious with that. Like Solly, like with everything you said of like, you know what, like 2015 and 2017 were the outliers with Spieth, and he's not going to win majors at that clip or win golf tournaments at that clip. I don't think anybody's expecting him to at this point. Right?
My point was how far off he's fallen from that. That was almost a full like shot behind that was the point I made last week. It's not like he's just kind of middling a little bit. It's a very, very big fall off from that.
I think he's showing some immense signs of life. I think his driver's better than it ever was in that front. I think he's still got 2 more majors in him personally. I don't, that's far off the expectations from 4 or 5 years ago. Right. But I think he wins this week. I'll put that out there. I think he wins Riviera. But I don't know. I think Jordan's on the cusp of some good golf over the next 12 to 18 months.
What's good golf? Is that majors? Is that wins? Where are we going here?
I mean, I just said I think he wins this week. I think
I understand that, but
2 majors,
1 win.
But yeah, I think this year probably. I think he wins twice this year, and I think he wins 2 majors in the next, we'll say 3 seasons.
I think he wins another major in his career. I think he will have a magic week at some point. I just would like to see more consistency. I mean, it's just one thing when he gets really hot with the driver and the ball striking, the putter just completely abandons him. And like last week, he hit the ball terrible and made everything he looked at. It's just always something. It just always seems like something's moving. Can't get everything to row in the right direction. And I just struggle to like have any like confidence in the continuity of his game. I think it's just like, I don't know, obviously unfair comp, but like Rory is obviously not the player he was from 2011 to 2014 when he was picking off majors all over the place. But like you go look at his performance since then, and it's like remarkably consistent and really good. And Spieth has been several rungs below that, right? And I just feel like we've tried to convince ourselves Spieth is back for a long time. Whereas if you look at like his career as a whole, he's been way more like this current guy than he has been like in 2015 and 2017. Like 2017 was 7 years ago. It's just the unfortunate reality of it. I will be there for like the Waste Management run where he shot 61 on that Saturday was one of the most fun Saturdays I've had watching golf. Like I will be there jumping off the couch when the run does happen again. It's just worth pointing out like this is a long extended period of time, 2 wins and 145 starts. It's just like, whoa, have we paused and talked about that? Because that is a long time.
It seems like the floor is getting higher. than it was 2 years
Totally.
ago, 3
He
years
had a
ago. Like
really bad stretch. Yeah.
I think we're basically letting this 6-year stretch, 7-year stretch, sour what I think has been a lot of progress in the last 12 to 18 months as far as raising his floor back up. Solly, to me, it kind of reminds me of Kyle Shanahan, right? It's just a sample size thing. We just we got to keep, he can't put all three phases together in one of these big games. It's going to happen at some point, but we just got to keep getting there. We got to keep getting to the fourth round.
It does remind me of Shanny as well, because it's like, just keep insisting. And then when the failures come, just keep punting it down the line and keep punting and keep punting and keep punting.
When have I insisted? I said that Spieth stunk for like a good 3 or 4 years.
You literally in our Slack this week, I'm taking notes of everything you guys are saying. I'm bookmarking this one. You don't even know what you're bookmarking, man.
I think, Solly, one thing you said that resonates, I hadn't thought about, is Spieth. He hasn't even given us that many like scares, right? Sunday final group at a major, right? I think that's the difference too with what you mentioned with Rory. Like, Rory hasn't won a major in forever, but he's put himself into position to at least try to really win one. And I feel like Jordan, we haven't even gotten like a good sweat from him.
St. George's 2021 Open, Morikawa won. He had the horrible 3-putt on Saturday, missed the 18-inch putt to wrap it up, and I think he finished 2 shots back at Morikawa. That was the lone scare. That was the last time I
don't think that was a major either, though.
Okay, we'll discuss that.
Not enough conditties.
Well, we got TC in there with his take for this week. TC picking Spieth to win Riviera this week.
I think Spieth and Tommy are both primed.
They're going to share the title
well this week.
Okay.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Mr. Big, who do you got this week?
Yeah, I'm picking Spieth's buddy. I don't know if you guys knew, he's pretty good friends with Justin Thomas. I know I'm not really sticking my neck out with this pick, but has played pretty well at Riviera, and I think Riviera is the type of place that just identifies all around very good golf. And JT has had a very good start to the 2024 season, and I think this will be a proper kind of culmination of what's been a couple months of very good play for him.
This one's jumping off the page at me. Maybe got a little rest, the whoop score, getting that bumped back up. Sahith Theegala is going to win the Genesis this week. He's going to cry. I'm going to cry. We're all going to cry. I think it's a great course fit, a course that, does not necessarily demand great accuracy off the tee. And around the green is strongly emphasized here. And he obviously is playing well. I think on a different side of the draw last week, it could have gone very differently for him. And a bounce back week, I think he wins. I truly think he wins this week. If not, I think Cantlay will win. But my one pick to win is going to be Sahith Theegala. I'm following the rules here.
I'm going to pick somebody who's won on this course before, put himself in contention in other times, and ultimately
Maxwell.
Yeah, I'm going with Max, the hometown kid.
Yeah.
No one wants to win this tournament again more than him, with Tiger there as the host. It's not going to be too much pressure for him. Plus, I think he hasn't really had that well of finishes so far this year, and he kind of has these little pops. California, his place. I'm going to go with Max. Guys, thanks for joining me on this happy hour. Thanks to High Noon. As I said, it's Valentine's Day. I wanted to add a little festivities into it before we get out of here. So I made some Valentine's Day cards, and I know that you guys helped me out with a little bit. This is from me to you guys, sending you guys lots of love. But I also thought we'd play a little game. Big, I appreciate that. Somebody who's given me immense love, pleasure over the past year, maybe year and a half, is for sure the next gentleman. He makes me chuckle all the time. I'm just thankful to have him in my life, even though a lot of times I don't think he should really be in our life. And that's this one that we got here. All right. So
he might not be in our life much longer.
Well, you never know. I'm sure he'll find his way somewhere. There's lots of professional tours out there.
If you're listening on the pod, it is Ryan Armour as a mule saying a card for Ryan Armour saying Happy Valentine's Day.
The next was TC's Valentine's Day card. TC, I don't know if you want to set it up.
I'll set it up here. First of all, I'd just like to mention too, I think Colin Morikawa was an absolute sleeper for this. T2 in 2022, T6 last year. Similar to what you said about Sahith, Sally, I think Morikawa, elite iron player. I think he's back on the upswing. All right. Listen, guys, we've got a guy who he spent some time working for Arthur Blank, who made some noise today with some quotes. He's an exceptional leader, and I think he's a little bit down in the dumps right now. Things didn't go our way this year, and so I want to send him a Valentine's Day. And
God, it's Kyle.
Things didn't go our way
God.
because not like through no fault of his own, right? Just a lot of different
except the coin toss
variables kind of coming through. So I think he's definitely a ball knower, and I think there's a culture that he's established that is completely unassailable. Of course, I'm talking about my guy Dick Sullivan, the Atlanta Drive manager. The obviously we had the Deflate Gate there. He's also the executive chairman of PGA Tour Superstore, but we had the Deflate Gate there with the what's it called? Is it not PGL? The arena, the
TGL,
indoor, TGL. Yeah, he's the but he's signed Cantlay, the Tool Man, which fits in really well with Arthur Blank's history at Home Depot and all that. So ball knower Dick Sullivan. Obviously you guys thought I was going a different way with this, but just hat off to Dick for everything that he does for the Atlanta Drive and the greater golf community.
Solly, we'll turn it over to you.
Listen, I just mentioned this guy. He is who I actually truly is going to think is going to win this week. But also just like the one guy that I feel like I go on an emotional journey rooting for him to win golf tournaments, right? And when he melts, I melt. I really do feel a pain when it doesn't work out, and I feel unbridled joy when it does work out for him. That's of course to my guy Sahith. He actually signed a shirt for me. One of my I have multiple Go Sahith shirts, but he signed one of them with a note in there that says, "This is really weird that you want me to sign your shirt, but thanks for the support." And I keep that in my office in here. So shout out to my guy Sahith. You're the sweetest, and you're my PGA Tour Valentine.
Cody, you got mine in there?
Of course.
All right. Gosh, tough to follow up those. I just wanted to send a Valentine to a guy that is kind of back in my life, back in all of our lives. And my thinking with this was I just want him to know he's loved, appreciated. He has friends here, and I'm hoping for very good things. Riviera has been a place where he's had some success. You might even say he's trending a little bit. Could be a very much a dark horse candidate this week. And when I say he's back, the pun is intended a little bit. He was struggling with some very bad back injuries last year.
Talking about Trill Zalatoris?
Yeah, my guy Will Zalatoris, a trap draw alumni. TC, he's always got time for the trap draw. It's just nice. I think golf and the PGA Tour, it's a better place when he's back out here. So
Zalatoris on the trap draw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When was this?
Pre-US Open one year when we used to talk about golf.
Oh,
the first year he qualified. Yeah, when it used to be a golf podcast. You are my perfect match, as anybody watching, and I hope you're a perfect match this week at Riviera.
Well, I hope his perfect
DB.
match here. Yeah, it can't be DB. When he sent me over Trill, I was truly shocked. When I pulled this up, I hope that Willie Z also finds his perfect match with this putter, because if the back might be fixed, but if we can't figure this out, we still might be in big trouble.
As we go to wrap here, this obviously happened right before we went on the air, but we want to give our thoughts to the people of Kansas City as there was a shooting at the parade. I haven't heard any details at all. Just if you're listening to this tomorrow or whatnot, this just happened and broke right before we went on the air, but. Obviously some horrible scenes there, and we want to give a shout out and our thoughts with the people of Kansas City. So I'm not good at these at offering these kinds of sentiments. It obviously just fucking sucks. But with that, I hope everyone go ahead.
Yeah, I was just
Send-
gonna say, if anybody wants to check out a little bit more preview coverage for Riv, Wolfie, Bama Bearcat, did a great write-up for us over at nolayingitup.com. You can find that written piece there. I don't know how he was able to get this done when he's playing golf all over the world. I don't know if he's still over.
He's down in New Zealand right now, playing
Yeah.
playing God all over the place. Yeah, I can't wait to debrief with him on that trip.
Excited to fire the tournament up. We'll be watching it all week. We'll be back Sunday night for No Laying Up live show presented, of course, by High Noon. Excited to get it in, guys. Happy Valentine's Day again. I hope you guys have some a good evening with your significant others, and we'll see everyone else back here later this weekend. Cheers.
Enjoy the tournament. Cheers.
Cheers.
Happy Valentine's Day to Blandy too. I didn't want to leave him out.